Good evening, everyone. Sure, what a time. I'm Rupert Koopman from the Botanical Society, and we are live on our second last webinar of the year. And this one is a really exciting one because we're calling it the Pep Rally, because the Great Southern Bioblitz is upon us in, wow, less than 7 hours. And we just wanted to give everyone an overview of what's going on. I'm going to share screen quickly. And try and find my PowerPoint. Okay. So, like I said, thank you very much to everyone for joining us for this. I think it's the 18th webinar that we've had so far. And come along for the ride. Today, we're all about bioblitzing. And we've got an array of speakers to help us. And we're also just going to whiz around the country to see how you can get your BioBlitz on across the country. So it's interesting that when the Great Southern Bioblitz started 2 years ago, there were only it was mostly a South African thing. And what's been great in this last iteration is to see how everyone from across the sub-Saharan continent has gotten involved. So you can see we're all over the place now, and we're going to zoom in some detail to just show people where they are. But the most important thing, if you're interested in the Great Southern Bioblitz, is to make sure that you've got iNaturalist downloaded or on your phone or on your computer and you've got an account. But B is that you don't have to join any of these events that are happening, but as long as you're in the map, your observations will count. So, and how that counts, you're going to have to check out our previous webinar on citizen science, because we've explained in detail how your information then gets plugged into the various conservation prioritization that we do. And now I've got Suvarna Parbumohan from CRU just to explain or give us the status quo of GSB in the country. And then we'll go to some of the selected speakers. So Suvs, if you're ready on that side, please go ahead and share your screen. And I'm just checking to see if there's, there we
go. Hello, everybody. It's great to be back on the BotSoc webinar, chatting about the Great Southern Bioblitz. Sorry, I'm not sure how to even switch on my video now that I've started sharing screen. Yeah, we've been quite busy.
Let me allow you to. Asking you to start your video.
Cool.
Okay, and then I'm going over.
Sure. Thanks, Rupert. So yeah, we've been quite busy setting up a whole host of new and returning participants to this year's Great Southern Bioblitz. We've increased the number of countries that are going to be participating, as Rupert's shown just now. And we've got a whopping 35 participating cities / regions / provinces / countries participating across Central and Southern Africa. That's fantastic. So this evening, I'm just going to talk to you a bit more about KZN, but being the focal point for GSB Africa, I'm also going to bring about how we prioritize stuff using KZN as an example. So previously, or rather last year, we had 2 participating cities in KZN, which was the Zululand area and eThekwini. And this year, we have increased our participation across the province from north to south. So that's Zululand on the north, the KZN South Coast on the south, with Ilembe and eThekwini municipalities covering the coastal region. And then a bit inland is Maritzburg and the KZN Midlands, and a bit into the Berg. So that's also the boundaries of the KZN Inland Coastal, sorry, the BotSoc KZN Inland Coastal Branch, KZN Inland Branch, yikes. All right, so it's quite exciting to have lots of different areas being focused on across the province. And then just taking you now a bit into why the bioblitzes are so important and why it's all the rave about bioblitzes. So it's nothing new. Yes, it is about a competition, but it's much, much more than the competition. So bioblitzes, unlike scientific surveys, are designed to collect specific information at a specific point quite quickly. So it's getting and roping in people into collecting data at a specific point. We assisting local conservation agencies with surveying priority areas, remnant patches of natural vegetation, undersampled sites, post-fire sites, invasive alien species, protected areas. So it's a wide range of areas that the local conservation agencies are responsible for and that we are having the ability to assist with. So the surveys also helps us to increase the records of our endemic and threatened species. We are challenging our citizen scientists to search for those species that have not been seen in a long time. And this is what we call rediscovering species. And our citizen scientists not only get to explore their immediate natural environment, but they get to explore much more in terms of the areas that the city champions are focusing on for that particular time. And then the more observations one uploads, the greater the learning of species IDs in your specific region. So it's a huge skills development within the biodiversity identification realm. So zoning into eThekwini, and you can see this slide shows how much we've surveyed during the different bioblitzes. So you can see we started off participating in City Nature Challenge in 2022. And then last year, we've done both City Nature Challenge and the Great Southern Bioblitz. And then this is the participation for this year's City Nature Challenge. And we're trying to look at where the gaps are within the metropole. Clearly, it's these inland bits here, and that's because that it's the rural areas held by the Ngonyama Trust lands. And we're now starting to engage working with the stewardship program within the municipality. So for this year, we've organized 2 bioblitzes in 2 different community sites. Tafelkop, which is just inland of Mlazi, which is a huge African township on the south coast of eThekwini, and then Istoyana, which is a bit more rural on the south coast of eThekwini. So you can see we've already been doing work in the Tafelkop area, and we focus just on one area. So we've got quite a lot of ground to cover, and it'll probably take us a good couple of bioblitzes, apart from people visiting the site and documenting stuff more regularly. We're also then helping eThekwini with all of their protected areas. So here is a map showing the variety of protected areas / nature reserves across the city. And here you can see the amount of observations. So this was just taken during City Nature Challenge this year. So remember, it's all of this data coming in over a 4-day period. And you can see the few observers. So just looking at Virginia Bush, 11 observers contributing just under 700 observations of about 200 species, and that's quite remarkable. So these are all pictorial galleries that a reserve manager can use, and those visiting the particular protected areas are able to also see what species occur in those areas and capture more species within that particular reserve. So very, very useful for our natural resources department within eThekwini municipality. This is a reserve owned by or managed by Zimvelo KZN Wildlife, and that's the provincial body. Again, this is a site within eThekwini, and you can see that a lot of work has happened in the central part of the reserve. Sadly, with the KZN floods earlier this year, we've lost access to this bit because of the bridge that has collapsed here. So it's going to take a while before we get to that bit. but it's this area that we're focusing on, and we're trying to engage now with the reserve manager to create parts. So this area you can see is really undersampled, and we want to create parts in here, put up traps, and really try to get data into this reserve. You can see that's why it's just under 250 observations by just 11 observers. So these numbers are quite remarkable. 143 species recorded in just that small area of the reserve. This also is key to showing that how little information is collected in our protected areas, and why the public needs to really go out into the protected areas and collect data and INET these specific areas. So if you're not sure about how to INET and what to do, I encourage you to go onto the website. So it's much easier to look at these videos on the iNaturalist website rather than on the app on your phone. So you go to the More tab and click on Video Tutorials. And then this would pop up. You can see there's a variety of topics here and quite short videos. I mean, this is just under 2 minute or 2-minute video around how to make observations on your mobile phone, how to make observations on the web, how to do ID. So there's quite a lot of stuff already available on iNaturalist. But if you want even further information, both my colleague Tony Rebello and I have been running live iNaturalist tutorials over a 4-week period. And we started uploading these onto the Crew YouTube channel. So you can see there are some topics here. So if you've missed the tutorials live, you can catch up. Not everything is online as yet, but we're getting there. And then a Crew volunteer, Graham Greed, has kindly provided us with a photographic course on for iNaturalist observations. So if you're not too keen or not too clued up on photography, please do watch this video and get some tips from Graham about taking photos for better IDs on iNet. So quite a lot of information available. We do host these online live sessions a month before both the Great Southern Bioblitz as well as the City Nature Challenge, which means the next live sessions will then happen in April next year. And for those of you who are just going to go out into the field and start up a BioBlitz and have newbies joining you, just some tips about what they should be what they should be doing on their phone. So very simply, you activate your location so that we could get the GPS coordinates of your phone, deactivate your Wi-Fi or your mobile internet, and that's going to save you battery. You don't need the internet whilst in the field. Open up the app, log in, and hopefully people have already downloaded the app and signed in. It does take a few minutes to process that. So hopefully people have done that prior to the BioBlitz. Log in and then take photos within the app. So the app is linked to your camera and it's easy as pie to take photos on your app. Just remember, it's one organism equals one observation. So you can take as many as 20 to 30 photos of a particular organism, but that will be one observation. So if you're seeing a flower and there's a bee on the flower, then those are two organisms, which means it will be 2 observations. So you take all of your pictures for the plant and then the photos of the bee on the plant. And then when your BioBlitz is over, you come back home, switch on Wi-Fi or your mobile data and upload all of your observations. It'll automatically synchronize your web portal and your mobile portal. Remember to carry a power bank because battery does go flat quite quickly. And most importantly, have fun out there. With that, I'd like to encourage you all to participate and looking forward to seeing all the exciting observations that this weekend is going to bring forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Hooves. That's a really good introduction to getting people going. If you could please just cut and paste all those tutorials links into the chat so that people who don't have it yet can check it out. Right now, we're going to go up north. So Soli from SANBI and also the chair of BotSoc Limpopo branch, the new branch up there, has prepared a presentation for us because he's currently traveling on his way up to to Limpopo so that he can be there for the GSP starting tomorrow. And as Tony Ribello has indicated in the chat, the GSP has already begun in Australia because they're a couple of hours ahead of us. So yeah, look at the leaderboard and don't panic because we're going to catch them as soon as 12 o'clock starts.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kamarela Solomon Mutimula, and I'm the Botanical Society of South Africa Limpopo Branch Chairperson. This is the Plant Conservation webinar on Greater Southern Bioblitz. The Limpopo province, situated in the northern of South Africa, is a home to lovely flora and fauna. It is divided into 5 district municipalities, namely the Capricorn, Mopani, Sekhukhune, Vhembe, and the Waterberg district. Do you love our unique province? Do you want to help make our biodiversity world famous? Well, the Limpopo province is participating in the Greater Southern Bioblitz for the 2nd time this year, an international competition to determine which region in the Southern Hemisphere boasts the greatest species diversity. Given the flora and fauna in our province, Limpopo stands a good chance of winning. Limpopo province is dominated by the savanna grassland biome, which is known in the region as bushveld. Other classes include montana grasslands, coinciding with the higher elevation regions and mountain ranges in the central southwest of the region. This is a Limpopo province map taken on iNaturalist, and as we can see the map, there are activities and observations on iNaturalist. The orange dots you see are observations taken and uploaded on iNaturalist. If we can see here, there's a concentrated observations from the Waterberg biosphere region. Up here, there's a concentration of observations in the Vhembe biosphere, and down here on the right, there's also a concentration of observations going to the Kruger to Canyon biosphere. And as we can see here, there is a huge gap that needs our attention, which is in the Sekhukhune area. This area is where I would like to concentrate most of our bioblitz so that we can see important plant areas in this region. One may ask, what is needed for you to take part in the Greater Southern Bioblitz? Well, you need a love of nature, of course, a camera. A cell phone is also good, and access to the internet. You'll have to take photos of any living things from the 28th to the 31st of October and upload the photos on iNaturalist.org or use the free iNaturalist apps available on Play Store, Android, or iPhone operating systems. And what do you need to take photos of? Well, you need to take photos of plants, animals, birds, insects, reptiles, water life, fungi, etc. Anything that lives within the province of Limpopo, yes, it goes. Starts in your home, your background garden. Species do not have to be native. Take anything and then go hiking in an area. Go for sidewalks, vacant plots, mountains, rivers, dams, and have fun. Remember to look in the air and under the ground too. Well, to list all the species that occur in the Southern Hemisphere in spring on iNaturalist.org, it's one of the reasons we are having the Greater Southern Bioblitz. Because one may also ask again, why do we have Greater Southern Bioblitz? We want to share our fantastic biodiversity with the world. And of course win, because this is a challenge. Your data becomes part of our collective knowledge of what occurs here and where, and can be useful to scientists in many ways. And also, we are trying to find important plant areas, map out certain plant species, and also look for places where or areas where conservation can take place. This is our Great Southern Bioblitz 2022 Limpopo project on iNaturalist. Please follow our project on iNaturalist for your observations to form part of our project or use the link that is shared. Reason behind is to get a glimpse of the Waterberg Biosphere Reserve so that we can participate in the City Nature Challenge 2023. There are prizes to be won as well. The aim is to have more than 50 observations a day per iNaturalist user. The events taking place for the Limpopo Province Great Southern Bioblitz well starts in your backyard. If you want to join the youth, you can join the Vembe or the Waterberg Biosphere Youth Network. Or if you want to be in National Botanical Gardens, you can go to the SANBI Yando, but standard rates apply. Or if you want to come and observe a place that has never been observed before, come to the Zebediela Torachweni Mountain Range and meet me there. And the challenges we have, well, traveling to remote nature reserves, and of course, our safety in the field. Be on the lookout for these circulating posters, as they will help you have fun during the Great Southern Bioblitz 2022 Limpopo. From the BotSoc Limpopo Branch Chairperson to the Vice Chairperson and the Secretary and Media Officer, with thanks to Rupert Koopman and Rose van der Merwe, this is the team that is making sure that you enjoy Greater Southern Bioblitz. We say thank you very much and go explore without limits. If you have any questions, recommendations, or queries, there are contacts left on the screen. These are WhatsApp contacts. You can contact me or email to the limpopo.botsoc@gmail.com. Thank you very much and enjoy botanizing. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, I like that Solly said, enjoy botanizing. Of course, this is the Botanical Society webinar, but we also remind you that you can take pictures of other life as well, like birds and animals and insects. But we've got our priorities lined up. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to do a whistle stop of all the South African places that or cities that are participating, and then I'm going to ask Nomama, who's also on the call, to talk about just quickly Kwelega's participation, and then we want to end quite early with the presentation so that we can have more questions, because Tony's online, Savannah is online, and we've got people like Simon as well from Kirstenbosch Branch have been also getting involved with behind the scenes things. So let's go around the country. Okay, and then right. Oh, and just so you know, I'm doing the Great Southern Bioblitz road trip. So I intend starting tomorrow in the Weskus. So that's the boundaries of the Weskus BotSoc branch, and ending in Gqeberha sometime on Monday, and to tick off about 9 of the cities along the way. But let's see who's taking part and where. And remember that for each of these, you want to be going to the specific project. So we've posted the umbrella project in the chat, and we'll do it again. So you click on there, you click on the list of participating cities, and then you click on each of the projects, whichever one you're based in. And I think Savannah, just to also tag into what she was saying, remember, if you're a new BioBlitzer, we're looking for wild things. So the rose in your garden does not count, but the beetle on the rose does count as a wild organism. And if it isn't wild, then please mark it as captive. It becomes really important for us when we're doing the identification later. So Weskus, as you can see, is the area of the Weskus Botanical Society branch. Please go onto their Facebook page and also onto the project to see exactly what they're up to. I'll be in Malmesbury tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at the Driehoekpad, Renosterveld area, which belongs to the Swartland municipality. And then I know that Nicole is planning a couple of things down south here in the Darling area, but I'm not going to run through all of them. Just go and check out the project and their Facebook page. Right. Then our first timers, there's quite a few first timers that, as Savannah has said. We've got Wittenberg, and Eugene Marinis is on the call now. His details are at the bottom. And they've got quite a program. Tomorrow, I'm going to try and dip in there with Eugene for 2 hours along an interesting piece of road which goes through mostly old forestry land. And as you can see, they've got a packed schedule from nature reserves, municipal commonages, and municipal nature reserves. So there's a really nice schedule going on there. Up north in Tshwane, I don't know if anyone from Tshwane is on the call tonight, but you can see it's the Tshwane municipal area, and that's the Pretoria Tshwane BotSoc branch. And if you looked on their Instagram, there are even vouchers from Takelot. Sorry, are we allowed to say brands? There are vouchers for people that are the top performers. So it's definitely worth taking part if you're based in Tshwane. Potchefstroom is also online. And I think what's interesting, those of us in the south, our spring's definitely at an end, and the veld in the last couple of weeks has become quite dry. But up north, they're just at the beginning of the rainy season. So Potchefstroom should be fun, getting out in field in and around the town. Then our Overstrand Bioblitz people as well, go click on the journal and see what they're up to. As you can see, they've got quite a significant coastal stretch, and there's a lot of action going on in that neck of the woods. They are vying to beat Cape Town. So if you're not sure who you want to support, that might be an idea to road trip and join one or two of these other cities as well. Also fantastic options to see all sorts of fynbos with or without the groups. Then the Overberg is a new entrant, and they have got, as you can see, quite an extensive area that they'll be covering. I'm hoping to pop into the area just north of the Werp Nature Reserve on my way east. And again, they've got an extensive program, which will be on both their Facebook page and on WhatsApp flyers. You can text me if you've got my number, or on the project as well. Then Garden Route, of course, this area is a veteran citizen science hotbed, as we've seen on previous webinars. And there's a whole lot of activities planned. A lot of the times, the crew activities are to areas with limited access and nature reserves and so forth. So keep an eye on their journal. But I think there's so much natural area to explore in this neck of the woods that it's very much worth checking out. But Sandra Falanga has sent me a quick schematic of some of the places that they'll be visiting. So you can see Uniondale, Ladysmith, the pass over there, which the name I've now forgotten. Is it Geismanshoek? Sandra, please put it in the chat. I'll be in Albertinia on Sunday, Still Bay, Mossel Bay, George, Neisner, etc. Which means there's a lot of opportunity in those gaps for people to check out the natural areas. Then further east, and this is where I'm hoping to end up on Monday, we have Gqeberha, and to check out their website and also the Algoa branch of BotSoc. Sorry, quick blonde moment. Algoa branch's Facebook page for details. On Monday, we'll be at Cape Recife Nature Reserve, but they've also got activities over the weekend. Stellenbosch, which goes all the way up to Franschhoek. There'll be quite a few things going on. I hope if Tristan's on the call, please put some details in the chat. But again, in their journal and on not on the Facebook page, but on Tristan Kruger's Instagram, there are posters of the areas that they'll be visiting. Oops. Then that didn't look so good, but This is now in the Eastern Cape. Mountain zebra Kamdubu protected environment is taking place for the first, participating for the first time. So you can see it's Graaff-Reinet as the kind of central area, but New Bethesda down to Somerset East in the southeast, and almost all the way to Aberdeen in the west and Maritzburg. I'm pretty sure there are very few data points on iNaturalist in this area, relatively so, and it's a good opportunity for us to build up more. Then to the Lowveld up northeast again. So this is where our Lowveld branch of the BotSoc are active, and also the Mpumalanga Plant Specialist Group. And they've got a couple of trips that they're doing to some nature reserves in the area. But again, there's a whole lot of nature out there for everyone who's based in that neck of the woods. Savannah mentioned KZN South Coast participating for the first time, so I don't have to go that. Then there's the area surrounding Rhodes, which is where the new Eastern Cape Highlands National Park is scheduled to be. There was a nice article in Felt and Flora recently detailing the upland grasslands and everything that's interesting about that. So go and check that out if you haven't yet. But again, in a piece of the country which needs a lot more data than what we have currently. Ilembe, and the north coast, sorry, of KZN, Savannah has touched on. And then I'm going to hand over to Nomama for to go through what's happening at Kweleja. Nomama.
Good evening, everybody. I'm just going to show my face so that those who don't know me can see my face. Yeah, am I audible enough?
No, you sound great, thank you.
Okay, good. And I'm at home. So yeah, just to show my face, this is me. Yeah, I'm just going to switch off the video again.
Again, if you haven't met Nomama, you need to read the nice article in Felt and Flora profiling the work that she's doing in the Eastern Cape. Continue.
Okay, let me see, where is this now? This one. Oh, the windows. Just please bear with me. I'm not familiar with Zoom.
No, that's fine. I know that transitioning to Teams is also an issue for me. I'm just checking the chat now while we've got a couple of seconds. We've got Sandra helped me, is that is Sleeping Beauty and the Crystal Kloof Trails of Garcia's Pass. Thank you. I'd forgotten that pass's name for a second. Soli says he's still on the N1, busy traveling north. So Soli, we hope you get there safely. And any other questions while we've got, we're waiting for Nomama? No worries. I'm just looking at the attendees. We've got people from all over. So Pinelands, Witzenberg, Overstrand, Napkeismond, there we go. Okay, Nomama, I'm going to mute my side and you can go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everybody. As you have heard, my name is Nomama, my surname is May. I'm based in the Eastern Cape in Kweleja National Botanic Garden, the very first botanical garden to be established in the Eastern Cape. We're very, very excited about this beautiful space that we'll be sharing, that will be displaying the flora of the Eastern Cape. If you don't know, it is in the east, it's in the north of East London, 18 kilometers from town, on the outskirts. Yeah, it is 170 hectares of land, and 10 hectares of that is earmarked for the botanic garden that we are busy constructing. So I am looking forward to see you all visiting our beautiful garden. So our BioBlitz this year, we're doing it for the first time, and we are very excited to be part of it and to be championing it in the Buffalo City municipality. This area covers your East London, Beacon Bay, Mdantsane, Berlin, Bishop, Zwelicha, King Williamstown, Keats Beach. So those are the areas that we'll be covering for this BioBlitz. Slide number 2, as I've said, we'll be leading it for the first time, and we'd like to invite everyone in Buffalo City to take part in this beautiful event. And tomorrow we will be starting with the Kwelecha National Botanic Garden from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because it's Friday, and our staff members will be going home. So wherever you are, you can take part. You don't have to be in Kwelecha with us. Wherever you are within the Buffalo City, you can take part. On the 29th, we will be doing Umtiza Nature Reserve, also in the Buffalo City, and we'll do on the 30th, the Kwelecha villages, because there are a lot of plants that are there. We've seen them many times. We go there and pick up our staff members. So I think it's the right time to explore and take those pictures, and we showcase what we have around. And then on the 31st, we'll be doing the Gunubi Green Village. It's one of the green villages, the eco places that doing things in a sustainable way. We also want to be participating there. We've got someone who will be kind of a liaison person that will be assisting us there. Yeah, and then what to wear. You can have your hiking gear, if you have boots, your long pants, your windbreaker, or any comfortable clothing, and you'll have your cell phone with you and fully charged, as you've heard, or your power bank with you, because you'll be really be using it throughout for that day. And if you can just take your beautiful pictures, your plants, animals, your fungi, your everything that you can come across, insect, everything that is there. So we're very excited, as I said, also to meet people around, people that are also plant enthusiasts, people that love what we do, people that support conservation. It's really exciting for us as the Botanic Garden. So we really hope to see you guys there. And then this is our beautiful garden. I don't know whether, yeah, should it? This is our beautiful Kwelecha National Botanical Garden. It's along the coast. That is the village that is within the nature reserve. It's a sand dune forest. It has a grassland. It has beautiful grassland species as well. It has beautiful trees, milkwood trees that are in there. It has beautiful orchids that occur, epiphytes that occur there naturally. And it has beautiful understory plants. So we really hope you guys will enjoy yourselves and keep taking those pictures. We want to win as much as well. We will be the very first time in participation, but we really want to do this. Thank you very much.
Wow, Nomama, you are really tempting me for that, to do that extra 3.5 hours to make it out to you.
Come.
Yeah, just if you can stop sharing your screen on your side. So before we move on, that's the end of the formal session, but I do want Tony Rubello, if you could paste a link to the Identitron in the chat, as well as a link to that video that you did on how to use it. So the thing is, it's a lot of fun to go out and do our observations, but after the 64 hours, the real work starts, being the uploading and the identification. And this has always been a challenge with our challenges, is that we only get, in some cases, half of all the observations actually identified to research grade. And this goes across the board. to where we need people who aren't going out to at least be aware of the fact that they can play a role in identification. And then also in terms of those of us who are both observing as well as identifying, so that we're more able to efficiently identify the species that have been uploaded. I'm going to ask Savannah, have we missed anything? Is there anything you want to add at this moment in time? And then throw the floor open to any questions that people might have. Please put it in the Q&A, and then we can go from there.
Nothing to add just yet, Rupert. I think let's open up the floor and see what questions comes up. It's always good to see what people are thinking about and engage with those.
Right, and then Tony Rubella has asked if people want to put their bets forward for who they think is going to win. This is a non-betting platform, but go ahead. Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions, guys. Here's your chance. Simon, I know you guys have been quite busy at Kirstenbosch. What do you think in terms of your chances? You can stick it in the chat, or I can promote you to talking as well if you're interested. But I'm also not going to put people on the spot. Okay, Simon's betting on Kamogelo. I think that's a good long-term bet.
Actually, the betting is great to raise funds for GSB and CNC.
Yes, actually, that's a good idea. And do remember that the BotSoc is a Section 18A registered non-profit organization, so that your donations are potentially tax. You can claim it back from tax. Okay, I also want to just ask people, and if you can answer in the chat, what are you most looking forward to for your GSB experience? Obviously, I've got this quite massive road trip plan, which is lekker, and I get to see quite a few of you. Tony has put the identification tool in the chat, and also sage advice. It's very important, if you haven't yet joined the project specifically in your area, or in my case, the 10 that I'm interested in, so that you are able to get information and updates directly from the coordinator, because at some stage there will be urgent identifications that will either need to be made from scratch, or just to get things from confirmed to research grade. So remember, we're looking at getting things to research grade, which is where it's both been identified and verified as that particular species. And then we can use it for our conservation planning information, as Savannah so nicely put it in the previous webinar on citizen science. Okay, I'm still not seeing any questions. Were we that comprehensive? Tony, is there anything you want to share? Can I promote you to a speaker? Okay, Tony, you're allowed to speak. You can just unmute yourself if you're ready. It's not like Tony to not say anything. You okay?
Tony prefers the chat than chatting.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so Letitia's been saying A, she backs Cape Town, and B, that she's looking forward to being out in nature because being behind the computer is stressful. We agree. It's very much a highlight of this time of the year to make sure that you can get out there. And just scrolling through. Is there anyone on the call who has not yet installed iNaturalist? Also put your hands up so that we can send you in a direction. Tony has put the link to the Identitron training video in the chat there as well. So if you got some time, yes. So Simon from Kirstenbosch Branch has said that the Princess Flay, which is a branch project that they've been supporting for a while, needs observations on the Western Shore. So that's a good idea. Sorry, I saw someone had a hand up and then the hand disappeared. Please raise your hand again. Simon, there's a question there in terms of the walks planned in Cape Town. Could you please maybe share are the details on the Kirstenbosch Branch Facebook page, or are they on the project itself? I think they'd be on the project, and there's a link coming in the chat now for people who are in Cape Town. Okay, so we've got 30 minutes to fill up. So because people aren't asking questions, is there anything specific that you're looking for? You said that you had got some targeted species. Do you want to go into detail on some of that?
Yeah, sure. So unlike Tony, and I think that's why we make a good team, is that Tony's the competitive one, and I'm the one who brings in the people and give Tony more work. So it's about getting more and more cities involved, especially in South Africa, although we've gotten lots of other countries and regions involved across Southern and Central Africa. But I think across the country, as time goes on, we'd like to get every municipality participating, and not just the champion and a few BotSoc members or a few key people in that specific region, but trying to mobilize people. So like I showed in the eThekwini slides, where we trying to work with tribal authorities and trying to get conservation agencies on board. It is a weekend, so a lot of people don't like to work on the weekend, and for conservation workers, they find it as a working weekend. So I think it's about changing mindsets and just trying to get more and more South Africans excited and interested in biodiversity, and just looking at nature around them and creating that fun aspect of being out in nature. But on the backhand, also, we want to use this as a monitoring tool, especially for the summer rainfall region, given the Great Southern Bioblitz is during a time when we've already had our first rains, and the flowers are all excitedly waiting for us to come and capture them. So I think it's a lovely time for us to start monitoring specific species, monitoring specific sites, and looking at where the gaps are. Tron has also done that and started looking at the northern area of the municipal boundary to start engaging with people. So I think as we build momentum of getting more cities and more regions on board, our champions must also start looking creatively of how do we work in those gap areas and try to get as much data as possible. And you can see I'm driving a lot of that data because we use it for a variety of things, from red listing and for threatened species, looking at least concerned species as well. There's the Veg Map project, invasive alien species, and a whole wide range of taxonomic activity happening in the background. So really, we need that data coming through from protected areas and non-protected areas.
Yeah, and there's a question from Debbie out in Kabeja about how are the boundaries determined. I'll start answering it, Savannah, and if I'm wrong, then you can chip in. Essentially, the boundaries are determined by the persons on the ground who are active. So in some cases, we've got the BotSoc branches. So in the case of Vescus and your own branch, Algoa, those were the boundaries that are used. And as Tony says, there's municipalities, but as you saw with that mountain zebra protected area, for example, a a protected area by nature, a protected environment by nature is multiple landowners over multiple properties. So you could see there were a couple of spots that were not necessarily included. So there's a variety of ways that the boundaries get chosen. So
yeah, we like to stick to provincial and district boundaries just because it allows us to buy in for the conservation agencies and for them to see the value in it. So as much as we've been creating projects, we're trying to look at where the boundaries are in terms of the municipal boundaries. And then obviously the BotSoc boundaries are a bit different, so we include those. So for example, the KZN Midlands boundary is a bit more bigger than your municipal boundary.
Yeah, and I think also what Savannah was saying about building these layers of information is that the 2 challenges a year are nice as a way of getting more people interested and focused on it. But the systematic way of approaching these, and this is why the boundaries and the kind of mapping in general is good, is so that you can look at iNaturalist over time and start looking at where are the places which don't have observations and filling in those gaps. I think that's what we're aiming towards. And obviously these little training events or big training events are the ones that get people in, but you don't stop after the 4 days of the GSP or the City Nature Challenge. Hopefully the bug then bites and you are on your way to work. If you see a beetle, or at home, if something's pollinating one of your plants, there are all sorts of observations that you can do beyond the like obvious. In the chat, Claire was talking about that, when she can participate. But Claire, I think Algin Gardens is actually part of the Overberg project. So if you're out there, you can also be taking pictures of the things that you see along the road, or the insects in the gardens and so forth. So I think everyone can just get going and observing wherever you are. It doesn't really matter. Okay.
I think I'd like to add there as well, Rupert. So basically, each of the participating cities hosts or plans bioblitzes, and that's so that people are comfortable enough to go to specific areas and blitz those. And obviously, from a champion perspective, we're prioritizing specific sites. So it's around the safety and the numbers and getting people excited and engaging with like-minded people. But definitely throughout your participating city, you can BioBlitz at any time, night and day, doing various things, as well as then participating in those planned BioBlitzes.
Cool. So if there's not too many more questions, we've got 5 minutes left. And I'm just going to encourage people to go to the chat, because Tony's dumping everything in the chat in terms of information. We've got 2 weeks to upload. Wow, that's cool. Because the City Nature Challenge is 1 week, and it's quite hectic. But think of it as 1 week, and then because we need a lot of time to identify the plants and animals as well.
Yeah, so it's 2 weeks to sort out all the observations, but we really encourage everybody to upload as soon as you've done with your BioBlitz for the day or for the weekend. It just allows more time for the identifiers to get in there and get tucked into the identifications. We also want people to help us with the ID. So it doesn't matter whether you're a specialist or not. Please check out the video about the Identitron. Tony's explained this in quite a lot of detail in yesterday's session, as well as then on that YouTube video. And we need your help to at least pull in stuff so that the experts can then come in and ID.
Totally, because the whole thing about the Identitron initially anyway is that everything goes into one place, essentially. If people haven't marked it, or if they've marked it only as plant or animal or at a higher level. So if you have got broad general knowledge, and I think everyone on this call has got some level of that because you've got some plant books or you're a BotSoc member or similar. And you could help move things from plant to genus, and then or to family even, and then the specialists are able to then use their filters to take it further. So that's definitely a way of contributing. I'm checking the chat again to see if there's anything. Tony was saying, oh yeah, so you can go to as many cities as you like. And in fact, I think that's what for me is like really, as Savannah was saying, the opportunity of the GSP and the CNC is that a lot of times the plant people are just doing things, but now we're actually being forced to say where we're going at a specific time. And that's actually the best way to get better at flora, is just to spend time in field with people who are knowledgeable. I think that's how all of us have learned the most. Actually, books are really important and videos and all the rest of it, but in field time, actually observing, that's what really pushes you forward. Savannah says that there are some bioblitzes recorded on the Google Doc. Are those full videos from for your project that you've been working on? And maybe do you want to talk about that project a little bit quickly?
Sorry, which project, Rupert?
The one that you've been putting together with Rhodes University. Sorry, I forget the name now.
The geo stories.
Yes, geo stories.
Oh, we're not ready for that yet, but I think that will make.
But upcoming.
We're keeping that. Yeah, we're keeping that for the crew 20th year anniversary.
Okay. Yeah. So watch this space.
That's a little small, cat out of the bag, but yeah, it's coming. Some of the bioblitzes that are being arranged are currently available on a Google Drive. I don't have access to the chat, but I'll put it into the chat there for Rupert to then share on.
Sure. Yeah, so if you haven't yet chosen where you want to go and you want to see what your options are, most of the bioblitzes that are open, and it'll indicate in the column to say if they're closed or full or whatever. So I'll put that in there. Nomama's asked in the chat, how do they register as identifiers? As long as you're a member of iNaturalist, you've got access to be able to identify, but do not take that identification responsibility lightly. So if you're not sure, then rather do not identify it past genus or family level, because if you do give it a or you agree with the identification that iNaturalist gives you automatically and it's wrong, then you're helping that wrong identification get up to research grade. So it's quite important to know what you're doing from that point of view. Tony's put a comprehensive thing there in terms of how to use or the principles behind identification.
And Tony would also then share the links on the group, on the project. So hence we say, please join the Southern African project, the umbrella project. Mm-hmm. And all of the links will be in there, so you can go in and assist with those options. Okay.
I'm just trying to get to that umbrella project link again so that we can share it one last time before we go.
Yeah, it's on the chat. Just check right on the top, I think.
Yeah, but it's hard for people to scroll up. Tony, can you paste it in the chat, please? Just the umbrella project last time. Okay, so that's the end of our webinar for today. Thank you for joining us. This was very much more of a workshop than our normal ones, but regular programming will resume in 1 month's time. Let me just share screen quickly again. Okay. So our final webinar for the year at the end of November talks about what lies beneath. We've got an array of really cool speakers, including one from Australia, to talk to us about the underground biome of what supports biodiversity in South Africa with our plants. and both from a just biodiversity point of view, but also from an agricultural support point of view. We're going to go a little bit deeper and hear what the soil has got to tell us. And there's so much still to learn in this space. So in closing, thank you to the speakers, Soli, for recording that amazing video before the time, and I hope you get there safely and on time, bro, to get a nice nap before tomorrow. Nomama for joining us all the way from East London, Buffalo City, and Savannah from Durban, KZN. And all of you who've made the time to be with us, go out, make sure your batteries are charged, and we'll see what happens on the umbrella program. So take care, and we check you in a month's time.